Peatlands cover less than 4% of our farmed area in the UK, yet they produce more than 40% of our vegetables. Lettuce, celery, carrots, onions, food that we take for granted every day, yet there's a hidden cost. Once drained for agriculture, peat soils begin to oxidise. Every year, our peatlands emit 23 million tonnes of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. That's 3.5% of our greenhouse gas emissions. These peatlands are both our breadbasket and one of our largest climate liabilities. On my Nuffield travels across 14 countries, I learned that the UK's issue with peat is far from unique, but our use of these soils is unusual. In the Netherlands and Germany, drained peatlands are predominantly used for grazing dairy cattle. In Finland, they're mainly used for forestry. In Malaysia, palm oil, and in Indonesia, rice. Only in Canada's Holland Marsh do I see horticulture being practiced on a scale similar to our own. But I also saw alternatives. In Finland, indoor greenhouse growers are able to produce salads and herbs 20 times more productively than our UK field systems without touching peat. In Canada, in Nova Scotia and the Atlantic provinces, smallholder family farms are able to contact their consumers directly, reliant on CSA models. In Taiwan, vertical farms rely on LED lighting to produce productive salads all year round. And in the Netherlands, small farmers are using pixel cropping to integrate resilience and diversity as an alternative to the monocultures that are so reliant on our UK peatlands. There is no perfect solution. Hydroponics rely on fertilisers and produce large amounts of waste. Polluter trials have shown reduced yields, and novel additions like biochar seem promising but remain under research. There's no silver bullet. What we require is a mosaic of approaches, tailored to local landscapes and supported by science. So what do we need to do about it? Firstly, we need to protect what remains of our intact peatlands. Secondly, we need to invest in national scale water storage to keep our peat soils wetter. Thirdly, we need to continue collaborative research like that being performed by Fenland Soil across all of our UK peatland areas. Fourthly, we need to fund scientific research into novel amendments like biochar and regenerative practices like these cover crops across our peatland areas. And finally, the supermarkets need to adapt to properly support farmers who are trialling lower emission farming systems on our peatlands. Peatlands are carbon stores, refuges for biodiversity and food producing landscape. If we can change the narrative, share the risk and support innovation, they can sustain both farming and climate security, not just for today, but for generations to come. I'd like to say thank you to the Nuffield Farming Scholarship Trust and to my sponsors, the Royal Norfolk Agricultural Association, for their support through my travels and for this wonderful opportunity.